if you're a taco restaurant, you better listen up.
All right, so we're going to build a marketing strategy for a taco restaurant in 30 minutes. That's the deal?
Let's do it.
That's the game plan?
Yeah.
What makes or breaks a restaurant brand before launch?
The given obvious, what makes or break it? A very good launch marketing strategy. Dive deep into your brand, right? So you're building out your brand. You got to think about your taco restaurant name, your taco restaurant logo, your website, your domain. All of that, I believe, would really make or break a restaurant.
Your landing pages, your emails, and you'll start getting ideas, and you'll actually start getting creative, and you'll start to have fun with your audience, because that's what really drives the engagement when you talk to people more so than talking at them.
Thank God now things like AI tools and ChatGPT and Cloud that you could use and simply type in a prompt as simple as, I am a taco restaurant in so-and-so city. This is my audience. I would like to create 10 different hooks for my Facebook ads. I would say like a 3-chapter process, right? You have the prep stage. The next stage would be like the hype stage.
Yeah.
The third stage would obviously be the launch stage, right?
You just have to be creative, and you have to find other brands that are willing to put their resources. So you have a nice venue to work with. People are going to want to come. Photographers, videographers, magazines. Be open to creating with people so they bring you people. Don't waste your money paying influencers that you don't know if they're going to bring you results, because a lot of the time you're spending money on things that are not going to bring you an immediate return. All right, so we're going to build a marketing strategy for a taco restaurant in 30 minutes. That's the deal?
Let's do it.
That's the game plan?
Yeah. So
And-
if you're a taco restaurant, you better listen up.
Yeah. Also, if you owe Michelle and I invoices, she wore her Pay My Invoice shirt today, because we're
You know who you are.
we got some people on a short leash this week.
Yes.
Anyways, taco restaurants, marketing, hospitality. Let's jump right in. We have some notes, so forgive us if we're looking at our phone, but we want to make sure that we got all the information right. Anyways, guys, so we want to help hospitality businesses today. We're going to call a taco restaurant just for the sake of it being a taco restaurant, but it could be any business, whether you're opening in the next 30, 60, 90 days, or maybe you already opened, but you're a little bit it's been a little bit slow. You're not making the money you want to make, and you want to know what you could do immediately to make a difference in your revenue. So let's jump right in. I'm going to ask you a few questions, Michelle, that we have noted down here. What makes or breaks a restaurant brand before launch? A few things, right?
Yeah. I mean, the given obvious, what makes or break it? A very good launch marketing strategy. But before you even would dive into marketing, I would consider to really dive deep into your brand, right? So you're building out your brand. You got to think about your taco restaurant name, your taco restaurant logo, your website, your domain. All of that, I believe, would really make or break a restaurant. I feel like, what would you consider something that would break a restaurant, a taco restaurant, right before launch?
Well, you mentioned things that a lot of people don't do, like from the technical perspective, right? Like the website, maybe the logo, and that's not going to be everything about a restaurant. You'll have people hearing this and saying, Alex, the restaurant is about the food. The restaurant is about the ambiance. The restaurant is about the experience, how people remember it. Yes, but in these days, it's a little bit of all of that. You can't just have a restaurant with fire food, but a shit experience or bad marketing, or, it gets crazy. So what would I say is huge, especially if you're starting out, because we've seen the start out of many restaurants already. It's not just like we came in and we helped them scale. Like, we helped them build this thing out. So I would say your pillars, like, who are you? Like, what is your story? Why do you choose the plates that you choose? Why do you choose the drinks that you choose? The ambiance, the decoration, like, who's the owner? Maybe the owner's more low-key. Maybe
Who's the chef?
Who's the chef? Maybe it's the chef owner. What's his story? What inspired him? I think all of those things make people gravitate towards you. I think it's the storytelling. What kind of story are you telling? What kind of story does your food tell? Your chef, your staff? And then from there, then you could, make sure that the messaging is uniform across the website, the branding, the social media. But I would say that is kind of like one of the key factors starting out.
And I think that also ties like into really knowing who your audience is. So like, who are the people that are going to come eat at your restaurant every single week, every single month, every single birthday, every single anniversary? Who are those people? And you can't say the typical everybody comes eat here. My audience range is 20 to 60, male, female, every type of interest, every type of city. No, you need to dial down. If you're, let's say, a taco restaurant in Miami, right? You're trying to appeal. Let's say you're by FIU, right? Who do you think your demographic is going to be?
Yeah.
College kids or retired old people going into retirement,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So if you're selling to like a college crowd, maybe you're dealing with broke college kids, maybe they're impatient, maybe they need things really fast, maybe you get a lot of returns, a lot of complaints. You really have to understand who you're going to sell to. And I know some people are going to like fire back and clap back and say, "Well, you're going to have hundreds of people a day walking into your restaurant. Are you going to?" No. You usually know a few avatars, right? You get, this is the type of person, maybe a wellness person, maybe a father, maybe a family, maybe a single man. You'll start to notice patterns, and then you could create messaging around those patterns and attract more people. And that way you have something more concrete in your messaging, in your videos, in your text. So if we're building a taco restaurant from scratch, a marketing strategy, or redoing the strategy, maybe we're doing a relaunch coming to market, it's, okay, who are we selling to? What are we selling to them? What kind of story are we telling them based off what we're selling them? And overall, what's our branding, right? Because branding is going to be very important. What are your colors? What are your logos? That's not food, but people remember that. Like, I mean, I could tell you branding from many companies that I remember, whether they're a fine dining restaurant or not, but they just really focus on their branding. Like for me, a big one was Miami Subs. I worked at Miami Subs coming up here in Florida. I also worked at Pizza Hut. They work so hard on their branding that people recognize them right away. And I think that's a big one.
No one out pizzas the Hut.
Yeah, exactly. We recently had somebody here, Chef Adrian. And she's been able to build her brand over the last 20 years of her restaurant by staying consistent to what her brand is, what she's trying to bring to people, and actually giving a good service. Because many restaurants want to be a revolving door these days, and they just want a bunch of people to walk in, but are those people coming back? And I think that we should touch on that. Like retention. People come eat at your place, then they come back again, they bring their friends. But if they don't, then you're just kind of like a university.
Correct. And I think that also like not only ties into, yes, like having great marketing, having great food, that really ties into having a great team, having a great, coming as I used to be a server since probably I was 13, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And just having such great hospitality from your waitresses, your bartenders, your hostesses. Those are those people are the reason people are going to come back to the table.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a big part of it is like morale. At the venues,
culture.
Yeah, culture and morale, because if you have your team incentivized, they're always going to perform well, and that's like the customer is going to feel that. I'm sure that you have a ton of experiences of going to a place and somebody treated you like shit, indifferent, didn't care about your order, versus a place where they literally remember your name and the last thing that you ordered. I mean, you have a friend that owns a restaurant that they do stuff like that they're very attentive. I don't know if you want to mention it or if you want to keep it private.
No, I would love to shout him out. His name is Nico. He's one of the owners of Omakai Sushi. I'm sure a lot of people here in Miami know what that place is.
Yeah.
They probably don't know the backstory is that used to work with Nico. He actually trained me to be a server back at Moon Thai where I used to work at.
Yeah.
So we've known each other since we were like probably 16. He was around 18 or 20 years old. So now we're like 30. So it's been like 10 years since I've known him. And now he's grown so many different locations of Omakai. And it's absolutely astounding to see not only how successful that restaurant is, but how great of a company culture they have there.
Yeah.
And like, given that, like, I've been there and I've eaten there a few times and I've gotten to experience like how they are, like how the servers are there and they come to sit with you and they like make you feel at home. They explain every dish so beautifully. And it's almost like they literally, it probably sounds like so cliche to say, but like they literally live and breathe Omakai.
Yeah.
They love to come to eat there, which I think is also great. Like, what type of business would you not want your employees to want to be there at? And I think
like they want to come
like
eat
they
and hang out sometimes.
Eat there,
yeah.
and like that's how I felt too at Moon Thai. Like I would love to go eat there just because I loved to work there, and and the company culture there was great just because of the people that.
Yeah, you always made me go eat.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a funny story. Like that's where you had the transition. You worked at Omakai, and then
no, I worked at Moon Thai.
Oh, my bad. You worked. Okay, we were talking about Omakai. You worked at Moon Thai, and that's where you had the transition over to the marketing agency, and then went over full marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you already had some marketing experience there. You had done Booby Bottle.
I actually met. My bartender friend at the time. She met the first man basically who gave me my first like one of my first graphic design jobs and marketing jobs for that matter. was a regular at the restaurant that we worked at.
It's funny how like at that time you and I like earlier on had experience, like, me and Miami Subs, Pizza Hut, you serving as a teenager, but we didn't jump into the hospitality industry marketing till a few years into us being marketers. But the cool thing was that we had learned so much from e-com and leads and sales and public relations that when we jumped into the hospitality industry, it's almost like we already knew everything. We just kind of needed to tweak it a little bit. So with that being said, we're talking about a taco spot, right? We talked about a few things that would be key if we have a taco spot, like company culture, like who are you selling to, what kind of stories are you telling? How do we decide what makes this taco spot different, right? Because, I mean, anywhere you go in the world, there's taco spots. Mexican food is probably one of the most famous foods in the world. How do we stand out? Besides the company culture, right?
Correct.
One of the first things I'd say is that a lot of restaurants are overlooking are special events, because so many restaurants just are open and they just want people to come in, but you have to give people also a reason to come in more than just dining. People want to disconnect a little bit. People want to see live music. People want to have private events, bachelorette parties. I think that's something that a lot of restaurants overlook, and I think that maybe we should dive a little bit into special events, birthdays, bachelorettes, making it a point for people to have an experience more than just the food.
Correct. I think, if let's say your taco restaurant is it's a beautiful space, you decorated it to be a beautiful space, there is no reason for you not to open up your venue to certain events like you said, bachelorette parties, birthday parties, anniversaries, anything really.
And having packages built around that where you make it easy for people to have an experience with you.
Yeah, and I think we have a great example. Like we actually have a taco restaurant client that does that.
A few of them, actually.
Yes, and and their restaurant is beautiful, and you would it's actually been in a few music videos, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And you would honestly
Fabulous.
When you walk in there, you don't even think it's a taco restaurant, which is I think kind of cool, and I think that's what makes their taco restaurant different. Well,
they had a designer come from overseas and design the whole damn place, like everything from top to bottom. So it was. That's part of the difference. That what marks the difference.
Yeah, I also wanted to make another good point. I think that not a lot of, let's say, taco restaurants or even any type of restaurant in general think about is really making your menu different. Like you said, Mexican restaurants, there's a few down here, especially here in Miami. However, you got to have your staple tacos, right? Your birria tacos, your pastor tacos.
Yeah.
All the simple
Carnitas,
tacos.
Whatever,
all the simple tacos. But like, what other tacos do you have there that stand out?
That so only you have.
Yeah, like what are
with a special ingredient?
What are the ones that are gonna hit TikTok and be like, damn, I want to go that taco restaurant?
Or like for example, one of our clients, they're big on cocktails. Like the one we were just talking about, the venue that's super nice. Like they're super big on creating cocktails that nobody has ever seen, or with ingredients that would other people maybe find unusual, but people want to try it. So that also marks a difference, because you're not going to reinvent the damn taco, but you could, the experience, the tiny ingredient, how you greeted the person, all of those things are what kind of like engulf a good experience and make the place different.
Correct. I'll give a good example. It's Chipotle, so I don't really consider it a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not.
But a good example that they do is they really tie into like celebrity endorsements, right? So like, I don't consider yourself to the caliber of Gina's Chipotle. However, let's say an influencer or a local celebrity really likes your taco restaurant and they get a certain type of taco every single time. You better reach out to them and be like, give me your celebrity.
Well, I'll give you an example. Dave Grubman here in Miami, they've named an ice cream after him at Kith. Yeah.
Look at Jimmy Fallon. He has an ice cream with Ben and Jerry's.
Does he now?
Yeah. I forgot what it's like, late night some ice cream something, but it's apparently really good.
Okay.
But a lot of celebrities, they do celebrity endorsements because they love that. And if
Poppy's about to do something with the girl from Love Island, right there, Amaya.
Papaya.
Amaya Papaya, and they did some. We actually posted that on Fame.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. So that was a great one. I wasn't even thinking about that. Like aligning with local influencers, local people. Maybe name a drink after them, a taco after them. Use their pull, and they're gonna be super proud of that. So it's kind of like a win-win situation there. I think. In that question, there was a lot of answers, right? That you could implement right away. It doesn't always have to be the food. It doesn't always have to be drinks or a party experience. Now, let's talk about hooks or taglines. Many people don't think about a hook or a tagline. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for how to do a hook or how to do a tagline. I mean, it just depends on what your humor is. And that kind of goes back into what kind of stories are you telling? And it goes into brand voice, right? Are you funny? Are you blunt? You know, are you sarcastic? There's a sandwich shop here, and I think we've gone to eat there near Opalaka, and all the guys that make the sandwiches for you are total dicks to you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They treat you like complete shit, but the sandwiches are great. And when you walk in, there's a bunch of like signs on the door, and they all say mean shit. Like, oh, if you're gonna ask a bunch of questions, get out, or like things like that. Like, I'm not saying be mean to your customers by any means, but if you're gonna pick a way of communicating, stick to that, because people are going to remember that. Like, being funny. Wasn't it Chipotle like that did that? I know we just talked about twice about Chipotle, but Chipotle used to be very funny, or still is very funny on their social medias, and they've done like a
Yes, especially I would say like more so like let's say on their obviously their TikTok and their in their Instagrams, they have a very very specific brand voice where they're literally, I would almost consider it like it's very college like.
And beef jerky, they do the same thing on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah. What is the
Slim Jim?
Slim Jim.
Slim Jim. They're hilarious.
Yes.
And Wendy's too. Wendy's goes off on some people sometimes on Twitter. Like, they say some wild shit.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of, especially honestly, if you're on TikTok, you see a lot of brands on there, and they'll comment on the most random video. Like sometimes you'll be watching a video of a dog, and it's like fucking Pantene commenting on it, and you're like, what the, like, why is this shampoo brand commenting on this video?
Yeah, but it just goes to show that they're making an effort to ingrain into the culture, right? And maybe your tagline is funny, maybe it's sarcastic, and maybe not just your tagline, maybe the way you communicate in your comments and your captions. Yeah. So really think about that.
It really ties into just, again, like who your audience is. I know we keep kind of repeating it over and over again, but like, again, let's do the example of, again, you're a taco restaurant, you're by FIU, you're targeting college kids. They're most likely drunk. So what's a great hook? Hey,
cooked from last night's party.
Yeah. Cook from last night still. Like get guilty free tacos at 9 a.m. Boom.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's one way of talking to people. So use that as an example to maybe try to get some headlines going for your ads, your landing pages, your emails, and you'll start getting ideas, and you'll actually start getting creative, and you'll start to have fun with your audience, because that's what really drives the engagement when you talk to people more so than talking at them. Like if you're having a conversation with them and they feel like they're talking to a friend, or like they could relate to that brand, that's when you start seeing the likes on the comments, the conversations, and that's where you see like the night and day difference between a brand that posts an image with a caption, 3 likes, no comment, and then a post with a full thread of people just having a blast, replying to comments or conversations that are going on.
Yeah. And just because, like, I know I would consider ourselves creative people. Just because you're not a creative person, like, does not give yourself an excuse to not do this, especially for your own restaurant. There's, thank God, now things like AI tools and ChatGPT and Cloud that you could use and simply type in a prompt as simple as, I am a taco restaurant in so-and-so city. This is my audience. I would like to create 10 different hooks for my Facebook ads. You know what? Even if you have the content ready, throw that shit in there too.
Yeah. One thing that I see a lot of, we're giving people the friggin' cheat codes today. So one thing that we're doing for a lot of our restaurant clients is that we build GPTs for each client, right? So you go on ChatGPT, paid of course. You build a custom GPT. To that custom GPT, you could upload instructions as PDF or TXT files, and you could put literally all the information about your restaurant: the menu, the drinks, the staff, the opening hours, the closing hours, the rules, the dress code, the frequently asked questions, everything. And then now that GPT knows everything about your restaurant, now you could bounce ideas off of it. You can make sure that in the instructions you give it at the beginning when you first build it out, which should take you no more than 5 minutes, and you don't need to be a tech coder to do it, you should add forbidden words, things that we go by, things that we are against. And then once you have that GPT ready, it knows everything. So you don't always have to give it the context of we're a restaurant doing this, doing that. You were doing that for one of our clients recently. You shared me on it. It was extremely helpful. And for that, you could have it make captions for you, tweets, threads. You could even use it to come up with custom responses for each review that you get. Each review on Yelp, on OpenTable, on Google Business. AI is a tool that you shouldn't overlook. A lot of people, I don't want to use AI. It's not going to be personalized. Well, if you already have a defined brand voice, like we've been discussing, then your Chat GPT or whatever software you're using is going to have that brand voice. And when you pump out the content, you'll be able to screen it. It's going to sound like a human, and then you're going to be able to work a lot faster. So to restaurants out there, hospitality companies, restaurant operators, please lean on ChatGPT not only to do what I just said, but I'm about to give another big cheat code. You could download all your OpenTable data, right? throw it into Chat GPT and tell it to tell you which are the highest selling tables, the highest selling staff members, the best times of the week, and you could start deducing different things that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to get because your human brain wouldn't have analyzed 50 pages of sheets, and you wouldn't be able to get the information that you're getting off of this.
I'll give you another really good cheat code that I actually did this week.
Yeah.
If you go to your open table or any type, whatever your platform is, you could look at your reservation lead time. So what that basically means is what time
leading up to it, did they book?
Correct, that they book. So like, let's say they book 2 days in advance, 24 hours in advance, 14 days in advance. That's what it tells you. So you screenshot that data, you throw that into ChatGPT, and you ask it, based on this data, what are the best times a week I should be posting on Instagram to get the most reservations or the most whatever it may be. And then from there, let's say your highest lead times are 14 days, 3 days, and 24 hours. That's when ChatGPT will tell you, okay, so you should be posting 2 weeks in advance between each event, be posting 24 hours in advance due to this, and it tells you an entire pretty much social media story strategy, marketing strategy for that.
There's almost like no excuse now not to do like stuff because we're able to move much faster now. You actually want to have to do it. Like I know for a lot of restaurant marketers, it's difficult to figure out, how to get their marketing to work, their ads, are the ads profitable? The tracking is a little bit wonky when you think about OpenTable and all the other platforms. When you compare it to e-commerce brands or even lead like service-based businesses, the hospitality industry, I would say, hasn't really fully caught up. This is coming from two people that have worked in several industries. I would say don't overlook AI. Get your staff to use AI, your marketing team, your managers, and don't overlook it, please. I'm not going to talk more about that. But Michelle, what are some non-negotiables we set up before day one? Like, for example, GMB, local listings, branding assets. What are things that from the first day you sit down and you say, okay, I have a domain, I have a name, I have a logo, I know who I'm selling to, I know how I'm going to talk to them, I know what my plates are, I know what my drinks are at. From a technical perspective, what are the first things we're going to tackle?
I would definitely say for a non-negotiable for a taco restaurant or any type of restaurant is a Google My Business. I hope I don't have to convince anybody out there that on why a Google My Business is a good idea in 2025 in
free.
This day and age. However, let's say I do have to. A Google My Business is basically your existence on the internet via Google.
Via Maps.
Google Maps, right? So, or Google search. So let's say you have your taco restaurant and somebody Googles best tacos in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The section that pops up on your phone, let's say, or your desktop to the right-hand screen, are all the restaurants and businesses that will populate on Google searches based on SEO practices, right?
Yeah.
So if you have great SEO, your restaurant will be number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever number, 1 to 10, ideally, for that specific keyword that somebody is Googling. If you're past, I hate to break it to you, past page 2, ain't nobody looking at your website.
Yeah.
If you tell me that I'm wrong, you should ask yourself, when's the last time you checked page 2 of Google?
Yeah, probably never. So yeah, Apple Maps, Google Business, Yelp, OpenTable, Living Social, all of these third-party sites, and you want to make sure you have name, address, phone number matching. You don't want to have a phone number here and a different email over there. You want to make sure they're all uniform across the board, and also that the operating hours are uniform across the board. I cannot tell you how many times I've Googled a venue, a business, they say they're open, I get there, they're closed, because nobody cares enough to change it. So I would say that that's like one of the first things that you want to tackle, and also decide like what platform are you going to go with, OpenTable, or are you going to go with whatever other third-party platform to book your reservations, and also what's your follow-up method? Like, for example, what's your email communication like? What's your text message communication like? What softwares are you going to use? And another thing that we've been noticing recently is that a lot of restaurants are sending emails because obviously, everybody's trying to market more now because they want more money, but they're going straight to spam. So for restaurant marketers out there or restaurant operators, if you send emails, you might not be a techie person and this might be going over your head, but please hire an expert on Upwork, on freelancer.com, or whichever one of these platforms, and make them warm your email address. And what that basically is basically all the email marketing providers are going to recognize that your email address goes into different inboxes every day, and those emails are open, clicked to, and replied to. And then they're more likely to trust you to go into their inbox rather than their spam. So that's something very important that we encourage people to look at, which is essentially the tech stack. To answer the question, what would be the first things a taco restaurant looks at? Look at your tech stack, because if we already discussed everything else from a branding and marketing perspective, the tech stack would be the next thing. Now, when do we start promoting before the doors even open? So we are in that stage right now for one of our new clients. They open in 3 months. What are we doing right now?
Well, I would
doing
say
a few things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give the whole strategy out, but
yeah,
I would say
they could hit the link in bio and join our
exactly. No, yeah, there's basically, I would say, like a 3-chapter process, right? You have the prep stage, then I would call it, the next stage would be like the hype stage.
Yeah.
The third stage would obviously be the launch stage, right? So prep stage, I would say we start anywhere between. It really depends on the marketing strategy, so it kind of varies. So I would say anywhere between, I would say at least 3 months that we need to start sitting together via Zoom, via a table, and we start to figure out exactly, again, who we're going to market to, how we're going to market to them, why we're doing certain things. And from there, we schedule certain things like shoots.
Photos.
Yes, photos,
PR.
videos, teasers, promos, ads, social media plans, social posts.
What if the venue, because we've ran into this, sorry to interrupt you, you're going to have some people going to tell you, yeah, Alex and Michelle, but it's 3 months before, it's 4 months before. I have contractors coming in and out. People are painting the food. How am I supposed to market this place? It's not done. It's not ready. False, because you have the menu already. I mean, you could do close-up shots. There's many ways that, you could shoot off-site. We've done that, and you make it work.
Yeah, and honestly, like, a lot of people don't really think about teaser content, behind-the-scenes content. Like, I think behind the scenes content and teaser content, like, really show a sneak peek at what's going on, is revolutionary to some brands. As humans, it is human nature for us to be very nosy and for us to always want to know what's going on. And for you to show teasing of what's to come exhilarates people. And I feel like especially when you storytell while doing it.
Exactly.
And then when you show behind the scenes, like, that gives your brand humanity. It gives them a genuine look, especially in now, again, a day and an age where brands and people are so fake and they put on this persona online. Like, everybody wants to know, like, all right, well, like, who are the people are behind the camera? Who are the people in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Who are the people?
Who's making
the chef?
my food?
Who's making my food? Why? Yeah,
this?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I agree 1,000%. So to recap, you could create photo content. You could create video content. You could invite influencers or celebrities for specific tastings, even if the place is not open yet, and you could capture that content, put it up. You could do polls. You could work up, you could start doing local stuff like YouTube videos that talk, like, if you're a taco spot, what are the best, top 5 things to look for in a taco spot, or that you could start being really creative. And again, you could lean on AI for a lot of this stuff, but you just have to make sure that you have something to put out and that you have substance. Because for Instagram, we're so used to already, like you were saying, everything is so pretty and to an extent so fake. Like, be real. Like, like, who's that person? Why'd they create that? What are they saying about me? Maybe a blooper, maybe a laugh, behind the scenes, like the pan, cutting, maybe the experience of somebody biting into a taco, maybe like a little bit of the juice spilled out, but they had a great time and it was delicious. Those things give you humanity, like you were saying, and you don't want to just be like a perfect magazine layout all the time. That's branding content. And then you could have testimonial content. You could have process content, which is who we are and what's our process. How do we prepare our food? There's different types of content that you could create. Don't think that you always have to hire like some special videographer or photographer to shoot a perfect image of your food. You could do iPhone stuff. Chef Adrian Calvo sat here and told us, hey, a lot of the stuff we do is iPhone stuff, but people connect with what we're doing and we tell them a good story.
Yeah, and like, let's say once you're getting closer to the launch stage, I would just heavily consider doing a soft launch and then a grand opening launch.
Yeah.
It is imperative, especially in the beginning.
Especially with a PR team running the soft and
correct.
Yeah.
And it's just very imperative, especially in the beginning where you have 0 Google reviews on your Google profile, that you flood that thing with positive reviews in the beginning. And of course, you know, when you
or
have,
negative.
yeah, but you know,
Then you'll learn what you're doing wrong and you fix it immediately.
Correct. But at least like during the opening, everyone's a very harsh critic on you. So
yeah,
don't take it to heart. But I think that's very, very important to do a soft launch because you get to really figure out, you almost have like a post-mortem. You're like, what went wrong? What went right? What can we do to fix it so it doesn't happen on grand opening?
Yeah, I agree.
So like, don't be throwing your team into the trenches and then hoping for the best on grand opening and everything go wrong. And then your Google My Business gets flooded with bad reviews. And once you go bad, it's harder to come back up.
Yeah. And we keep bringing up Google My Business because it's free. Because a lot of people be like, oh, well, you only talk about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars like you guys do. No, like there's a way to do free. There's a way to do paid. So we're giving you a little bit of everything here. Now, I want to talk about 3 systems to put in place before we launch. Okay. The number one for me is your phone systems. Okay. Use a tracked phone line, software like a Nextiva. You could use a call rail if you want to record the calls, whatever it is. You just want to make sure you're compliant. If somebody calls in, hey, this call may be recorded. The compliance is important, but that's going to be a big one because we can't forget that there's a huge group of people that still want to be tended to by a human being. They want to call in or text in and immediately hear from somebody. So I would say make sure your phone systems are set up correctly. Make sure that you're following all SMS texting laws and that you have the right privacy policies and everything that has to do with like legal on your website to make sure that you could send these communications out. Once you have that, then you can move to the third-party platforms like we talked about, having everything. Because without a phone number, they won't let you open up any of these things. So from a tech perspective, you have your phone line set up, okay? We would have our social media and content, which is obviously going to be really important. And I'm not going to talk about restaurant operations or staff or front of the house or back of the house because we're talking about marketing today. But I would say for the 3, it would be the phone systems, the social media systems, and then
email systems.
Yeah, email and text
systems.
Message systems.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, besides like your basic like, oh, like thank you for coming, which I would hope you would have set up.
Birthdays,
you know, like,
anniversaries.
Yeah, birthdays, anniversaries, you know, really anything. And then you could even get really, really granular and start to, you know, OpenTable offers free email marketing. So they do your highest spenders, people I think who have like not visited in the last 30 to 90 days, you know, hit them back like, hey, we haven't seen you around in a while. Here's a free taco. Here's a free guacamole and chips.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I have a bone to pick with OpenTable there because of their delivery rates with the emails. But it's really good because it's one platform, so they will be able to tell. If you want to take the longer road, you could download the data, throw it into an AI platform, find out whatever you want to find out from it. Because for example, like when we look at our clients, a lot of the hostesses are really good about putting notes on the profile. So like this person came in for their birthday, this person came in for an anniversary, and then when you're going on OpenTable and you're like, or when you're going on ChatGPT or whatever software and you're reading the data, you're like, oh, okay, out of all the reservations this week, like this many were birthdays. Okay, so we have a birthday trend, or let's build a package around birthdays. Let's have a birthday drink or a birthday this or like whatever it is that we want to come up with. So I think that's going to be really important. But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
The systems.
Okay, systems. Downloading. Okay, bone to pick. So you would be able to download the data, ChatGPT AI tool, figure out whatever it is that you need to figure out. Like, okay, how many of these people came 2 or 3 times? How many of these people came for birthdays? When is their birthday? And then, you know, if some people are lazy, but you might be able to go to another software, another tool that's properly warmed, is going to hit the inboxes, and you could start sending individual emails. Like, you know, sometimes you got to get into the trenches. Like maybe you have repeat buyers that, you know, always come in, haven't come in a while. Like you said, reach out to them, offer them an appetizer, offer them a special experience. Win the customer back. Like I hear so many people like, we need new business, we need new customers. No, like yes and no. Like you need new customers, but you also want your old customers to come back. So you have compounding interest and compounding like growth for your business, because otherwise you're just always going to be a revolving door.
Yeah, there's so many businesses that do like little birthday, like my birthday's coming up, for example, and I literally got, I think it's like in a couple of weeks, and Benihana already emailed me and was like, hey, your birthday's this month, here's $50 to come eat here. And I was like, damn, $50. So I was like, that's really? Benihana for 2.
Yeah, shit must be rough on Benihana right now.
Yeah, I was like, damn, things must be tough for Steve Aoki's dad right now.
Yeah, you should hit us up. Shouts to Benihana. But Drake said Benihana was pigeon food. Do you agree?
I must be a fucking pigeon.
Yeah, I must be a fucking pigeon, right? Because I'll go to Benihana. I'm not going to front. Benihana's pretty good.
Yeah, okay? But the service is slow, so that's what they got to pick up on.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about organic and paid. Okay, what's the first paid ad campaign we would launch? Who are we?
You tell me.
Who are we? Again, we're coming back to the basics, because it's like people try to reinvent the wheel with marketing and think that you have to be this all-knowing creature when you just need to know people. And people spend so much of their day ignoring cues and ignoring how to deal with people and how people communicate with you. And if you actually have the intention to listen to the person next to you, you will solve their problems, yours. And then in doing so, you'll be able to know how to talk to them and what to offer them. So I would say, for a paid ad campaign, figure out what's your value prop. We talked at the beginning of the episode. What makes you different? That could be the first episode. What makes you different? Who, what, when, where, and why? Those could be the first videos that you record, so you could give people an idea of who you are. Because if you show a bunch of nice dishes, that's going to be cool. And oh, nice, that's cute. Or a girl's going to, I want to go on a date there. Or I want to take my wife there. But who, what, when, where, and why? Have you noticed that whenever you take a recommendation from someone, you don't just go because they tell you it's good? You go because they're like, yeah, watch that movie because this happened and that happened and this was the supporting actress, and then after the movie I waited, and after the credits this happened, like with the Marvel film, or I went to this restaurant and can you believe I went to Omakai and they remembered that last time I got this dessert and they offered me again because the waiter had the tablet on him and literally cared enough to look at the tablet and say, Michelle came here 2 weeks ago and she ordered dessert. Michelle, would you like the same dessert again? I know last time you... Those things make a huge difference. So if we show that in the content and we know how to speak to our people, I think that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah. You also kind of, try not to overthink things. And sometimes like simple, stupid works. Yeah. Humans are simple, stupid. And you just have to literally spoon feed them what you want to tell them. So like, let's do the example of the taco restaurant in whichever city, Miami, right? So who you are, Mexican fusion taco restaurant, Miami, just opened. Next 3 seconds, right? Because you got to capture people in the first 1 to 3 seconds, because if not, they're gone if you're boring them. The next shot.
Find out why everybody's going crazy over this birria taco with the special sauce that has everybody buzzing.
Yes, and you show that birria taco being dipped in there, the taco looking juicy as hell.
People's reaction.
Correct. Located Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Taco Tuesday specials. $4. Ladies' night, right? You're throwing everything onto that ad on text. You can have somebody saying it, because guess what? If you put it on text and you have somebody say it, now you're ranking for keywords and SEO.
Yeah, because there's a new update that actually went into effect July 10th, 2025 with Facebook and Instagram. I think it was just Instagram. I may be mistaken. Look it up to triple check. But Meta now is putting a huge focus, the way TikTok is, on video, reel, SEO. So if you have a reel that you put up and you just open your taco spot, it's like, hey, we're that new taco spot in Miami that has those birria tacos that everybody's talking about. You could find us here, 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 here. We're the best tacos in Miami because these people said so. All of those words are keywords that now when people look up best taco birria Miami, all of a sudden that reel that you had is going to come up now instead of maybe a website, because if you notice the search is changing. You have AI overviews now, you have the maps, you have the Google local service ads for service businesses, you have the organic search. You're having Reddit come up, you're having TikTok. So not only do you want to focus on making sure you have good content that speaks to people, but you want that content to say the words that relate to your business, to the city that you're in, to the neighborhoods that you service. All those things are going to be important.
And that kind of ties into the second part of the question, which was organic, right? So all of that is organic. Putting specific keywords, right? I'm sure a lot of restaurant owners know that buzzword is, right, or like keywords. Like, what are the keywords that we're doing? Specific keywords, let's say for a taco restaurant, would be anything like tacos in city that you're in. Best taco restaurant in blank. Birria tacos in blank. A great way, I think, that a lot of restaurants overlook is SEOing, right? I don't even know if that's a verb, but SEOing your online menu, right? I know a lot of people can sometimes, they're like, you know what, like, an interactive menu, that's too expensive, that's too much time consuming, like I don't want to do it. I'm just going to put an image on my website, or I'm just going to do like a third party app that doesn't even have any, like I can't even do anything with it.
You want to build the plates out.
Build out your menu, like build it out, code it out, because not only I feel like it's easier for me to scroll through a interactive menu that's native on the website compared to
you have to zoom into
PDF that I'm like scrolling, and I'm like I feel like a boomer. I'm like, oh my god, I can't even open this. It's a great way to rank for certain keywords. So like, again, like let's say you're the taco restaurant in Miami and you serve birria tacos and you have on your menu, online menu website, birria tacos, and you put all the ingredients, you're ranking for that keyword because it's on your website compared to it being on an image, and you're no longer able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great way to do organic. You can do blogs. Blogs are a great thing that really no restaurant does, except their own clients. But
they ignore the hell out of the blogs, thinking it's some bullshit waste of time, and it brings massive traffic that converts into reservations.
It's not always like selling things, like you don't always have to sell your food to people. It's great
the neighborhood too.
It's great exactly. Like let's say you're in Fort Lauderdale or I don't know, another city, 'cause I keep saying my Florida cities.
West Palm Beach.
No, let's say Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
Let's go across the coast.
Yeah.
Let's say you're in Los Angeles and you are doing a blog that a taco restaurant, but you don't want to say, okay, you've already hit all the keywords of taco restaurants in Los Angeles, taco restaurants in California. All right, so now let's take a step back, right? You have your funnel, you have your attention, your awareness. I forgot the rest of the funnels, but you look it up. But now you want to go back to your next step on your funnel and think about, okay, what are people searching for before they search up tacos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say you got a lot of tourists in Los Angeles, right? And you had a lot of tourists coming to your taco restaurant. Those tourists are probably looking up things like best things to do in Los Angeles, California, best cheap things to do in whatever, best tours in Los Angeles. You should be hitting keywords like that, and from there you can craft your
best
blog.
Sightseeing.
Correct. And then from there you can craft your blog. So let's say you're doing the best things in Los Angeles. You're going to put number 1, driving through Santa Monica. Number 2,
Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah.
Number 2, going to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And then guess what the next one's going to be? Number 3,
some banging ass tacos.
Going to eat some fire ass tacos at this Los Angeles taco spot.
Yeah.
And then number 4,
Something
riding
else.
a bike at the beach.
Yeah.
And now from there, you naturally almost fed people your restaurant without shoving it down their throats.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can put ad banners onto your actual blog.
Or you could do, for example, there's one that you do that I like, that like you could put different not competitors, but different restaurants on a blog, but that are not competitors. So for example, you could talk about the smoothie. Oh, this smoothie over here is banging, but if you come over here, this taco's great. And like, so then you could give people like an experience of what they could do for maybe dining on the weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
So like we have like a fine dining restaurant client, and honestly, a great way to think that we do. And I think it kind of helps like locally too. Because we're showing love to the local businesses too, that I hope they show us love back.
Yeah.
So a great way to do is like, let's say our fine dining restaurant sells oysters. Oysters come in different prices. So we'll put oysters price range $1 sign, oysters price range $3 sign. So we give people a different range. Again, we're not shoving our client down people's throat, but we're actually giving them their information that they're looking for, which is best oysters in Miami. Here's if you're looking for a cheap range, if you're looking for a medium range, or if you're looking for a fine dining range.
Try to help them too. Like don't be an asshole. Like you have to think about bringing the person value. Yeah, you have a hidden motive of them finding out about your thing, but you also want to be objective, right?
Yeah, correct. Because then you get bounce rates, or then you get clicked ads, and then they get bounced off off.
Yeah, they bounce off fast, and then that hurts your website.
Yep.
So you have to make sure that you create content that's good. And one thing people are overlooking for their blogs right now is the YouTube content. Add a YouTube video to that blog, because YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world.
Yep.
So that's something that people are overlooking.
Or even TikTok too. I keep talking Google, but organically TikTok is great too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, especially if your audience again is on TikTok. I have found even myself going onto TikTok at times, like skipping Google, even skipping sometimes ChatGPT, and going onto TikTok and being like, best Miami restaurant for mozzarella sticks.
My brother does that. Yeah. So
exactly.
like TikTok is his Google.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like it's not almost kind of better than Google and ChatGPT, because you're getting people's videos, you're getting actual face-to-face content, and feeding it the same, just scrolling continuous. So it's kind of like you're doom scrolling, as a lot of people call it.
Now, my next question here was, how do you build a local buzz without a huge budget? Well, I think we've touched on that already. You could use influencers. You could do like special tastings. You could do specific events. And if you don't want to blow a lot of money on an event, because events cost money, find other partners, people that want to showcase their brands. Like we do that all the time. Like we fill out restaurants. We do like collab events, like bunch of people show up, like, the doors packed, but you just have to be creative, and you have to find other brands that are willing to put their resources. And if, for example, you're a restaurant, you have an upper hand because you have a nice venue, right? Well, hopefully you have a nice menu. Hopefully you don't have a shit restaurant. You have a nice venue to work with. People are going to want to come. Photographers, videographers, magazines. Be open to creating with people so they bring you people. And you could create content based off those people coming. Maybe you didn't sell that night, but maybe you created good content that turns into ads that brings other people another night to sell. So I would say don't overlook the fact that you could collaborate with people to build a big buzz without spending all your money.
Yeah. I think another really cool idea for like local buzz, I would say, is in Wynwood, in a specific example, in Wynwood, there is so many...
Wynwood, Miami, yeah.
Yes, Wynwood, Miami. There's so many like stickers and graffiti and like flyers everywhere that like I've seen a lot of businesses, well, they'll do a specific example. Is like there's a flyer out there that's like, George, you cheated on me, so now I'm spreading the news, right? And it's like a QR code, and then you scan it, and it's like a freaking menu to some restaurant.
Yeah.
Which I think it's hilarious. Some people are like, oh, like it's deceptive, but whatever. Yeah. But like, it got you to scan,
Yeah, it's funny. It has its pros. That one would have its pros and cons, like because of the bounce rate, but
Correct.
It's still it's like, a creative way.
Yeah, like if you're in a very local hotspot like area, like go around the community. Go to different places. Like let's say you're a taco restaurant. And like what's the place that people would go to before or after getting tacos from your place? Like, okay, are they gonna go get a massage? Are they gonna go get their nails done? Are they gonna go to the mall? Partnerships with
those people.
Yeah, and then do partnerships with people. Let's say there's a nail salon right next to your taco restaurant. You better walk over to that nail salon and be like, hey man, every time somebody comes in for nails, if you send them over for tacos, like we'll give them a free taco.
Yeah.
And then likewise,
or we'll give you a free taco, yeah.
And like likewise, like let's say those people come to the taco restaurant, and we're like, you know what? Hey, if you go to the nail salon next door, they'll give you a free, I don't know, wax or a free massage or something. And that's how you feed customers to each other back and forth.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. We actually talk about that in our course. By the way, we have a restaurant marketing course. Link in bio if it's available, and if it's not, you could send us a DM or send us an email. What social media content actually moves the needle? We talked about that already. Content that speaks to people, content that talks about the process of how you do things, what makes you different, the quality of the ingredients that you use, what people are saying about you, what the media is saying about you, what magazines are saying about you, critics, foodies. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to do like a variety of content, like especially let's say you have a younger audience, like it's good to do trends. However, like don't only do trends. Don't only do trends, because then you're not storytelling. You're not actually giving your brand a brand voice and being genuine to your own self. I think it's a great way to do a little bit of both. And yes, those trends do great. Yeah, they'll get you millions of views. Like they got our clients millions of views.
Yeah.
However, like they don't really tell who your brand is. They don't tell what your food is.
It opens up the door for them to see your stuff, or maybe you're retargeting to close them later on. But that it doesn't have the full substance if you just focus on that.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, do we run influencer campaigns before opening? I mentioned briefly, you could do tastings and invite influencers, like the tasting of this birria taco with this horchata, or whatever. And like everybody's talking about all the rave, and it could be something as small as this little table that you see right here with a setup, the person's trying it, the camera pointing, their reaction, collab post, it's about to open, sign up for the wait list, right? Like these type of things could work.
Yeah, and if you're a restaurant trying to choose like in between a macro and a micro influencer, again, micro being like, what is it, like under 100K or something like that?
Yeah, I think micro right now is like under 50. It's like 100 or 50K. Yeah, it's
something like that. But if you're in the millions, you're obviously a macro influencer. So if you're trying to choose in between those two, I would say, obviously, depending again on who your audience is,
and how much money you have.
But don't sleep on micro influencers. Yes, you might consider like, oh, they don't have 1 million followers. Oh, they only have like 100,000. Sometimes it's better.
Yeah.
Given you look at when's the last time you bought something because Kim Kardashian bought something? When's the last time you bought? Okay, well,
so many people.
Sometimes
depends
I feel
on
like
the
it's
IQ
dying
score.
down. But like, when's the last compared to? If you were to buy something, would you buy something because Kim Kardashian told you to buy it, or would you buy something because I told you to buy it? If you were me, if it was you or you.
I mean, yeah, I would buy it because
you're gonna go to a restaurant because your best friend, your mom, your dad, your sister told you, hey man, this restaurant's great. You have great birria tacos. You should go check them out. Compared to if we paid Kim Kardashian $50 million to hold our birria taco and be like, oh, I love tacos. You know,
Yeah.
like by the time you get back your $50 million, it'll be rough.
It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. I understand.
Yeah.
And people have a misconception that they have to hire the super famous person to blow up their place. Like, you'd be surprised. We've seen it with our clients. You have these foodies with sometimes no followers go in and they got like 1 million, 2 million views on a friggin' taco video. Like,
we actually had a friend who paid Kylie Jenner.
Yeah. Yeah, we know somebody that paid Kylie and Kim.
One of the
Kylie and Kim.
And Kim?
Kylie and Kim.
There you go.
Yeah, he paid Kylie and Kim. So he did work. He did good. Good for him. If you're listening, shout out, bro. What's the ideal posting cadence from, like, how often are we posting before launch? 30 days, 15 days, 7 days? I don't think there's a right answer here, guys. I just think that we need to be objective in how often we're posting. We have to be aware of algorithms. We have to be consistent. For us, depending on the scope of the work for the client, we post 2, 3, 4 times a week. It's okay to post once, twice, 3 times, but post every week.
Yeah,
that amount of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, stories as well. You're going to post a story a day, 2 stories a day, 3 stories a day. I would say just be consistent and don't overdo something that you can't maintain. Don't introduce people to a vibe you can't maintain. You don't upload 10 reels this week and next week 1 reel. No,
exactly.
Spread it out and like don't over like get too excited to drop everything because then you're not going to be able to maintain that.
And keep your social media organized. You know, there's some great free tools out there. I personally use Later. I love Later. A lot of people use Hootsuite.
Yeah.
I can't even name.
I love Later.
Yeah, Later is great.
Yeah, Later.
Shout out to Later.
For scheduling, of course.
Yes, for scheduling.
Every platform.
For scheduling, you know, it pretty much auto schedules it for you. It schedules it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. I think even LinkedIn as well. It has some great features, and
amazing.
from there you can really plan out your content. So okay, I'm gonna post Ladies' Night on Thursday. Taco Tuesday on Tuesdays and this on
Industry
Saturday.
nights on
Correct.
Monday or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have your schedule set up and then that way you also know like,
and
okay.
it auto posts.
And
it doesn't remind you. It auto posts.
And you also know like there are pillars that you have, right? Like, okay, today or this week I posted a piece of food, I posted a cocktail, and I posted someone eating my taco, right? So now the next week I know, like, hey, I posted food last week and cocktails this week, so maybe I should post
reviews,
a review, a storytelling, the chef making the taco, you know? So it's not like you keep posting the same exact thing over and over again.
Yeah, that's insanity too. I've been there posting the same shit, expecting to get different results. Please don't do that, guys. Right? Okay, so systems and retention. How do we make sure the restaurant captures every lead and walk-in?
Good one, because you know, again, not a lot of restaurants think that. They try to get so many people through the door and then they walk out and then they never come back in.
Yeah.
So it's really important to do retention. You know, that really ties into the servers having good training, making people feel welcome. So then that way they become regulars. I think
speaking to them by name.
Correct.
Hello, Mrs. Chia. Welcome. Like, look at the reservation. What's the person's name, man? Welcome them in. So, like, make them feel like a king.
Yeah, actually, a good example
Quin.
again is like Omakai. Like, Omakai, I was invited to go for my birthday. When I walked in, they handed me a glass of champagne. I was like, damn. Yeah. I was like, I haven't even walked in the door yet. And I'm being wined and dined.
I have a restaurant that every time that I go there, like when they see me about to walk in, like you see the whole staff start to shift around and they're like, yo, go greet him, go make sure Mr. Quin pull the chair, they know I'm coming with my family, you need this, you need that stuff is so important. I understand you can't do that with everybody, but data is important. And what I was saying to you, if Omakai could do it at scale, having multiple locations throughout South Florida and treating their customers not like a number but like a person, trust me, your restaurant could do it, especially if you have a hostess sitting there waiting for people to walk in. Have her fill in, okay, this person walked in, it was their birthday, I'm going to capture their information and fill that data up, because that's what you're really going to hold on to. Because, you know, your followers on social media, one day your social media could get taken down, your TikTok could get banned, but your email list, your open table data with notes in it, with information about the client, are they a repeat customer, were they upset, did they want to talk to the chef, all these things make a difference.
Yeah, and I think a good way to like really bring people back is retargeting ads. You know, like,
of course,
you specifically know a lot about those.
To people that have already had reservations.
Yeah, people who have reservations, people who are liking your Instagram posts, people who are commenting,
or saving the posts.
Yeah, exactly.
DMing you. Another cool one that we've been using is ManyChat, manychat.com. Shout out to ManyChat. The CEO's been on the podcast. They've also been a podcast partner, and they send billions of messages a day. a month through Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Messenger. They're like approved for you to build a bot on Instagram to reply. Whenever you see people say, oh, comment below to get my blueprint or comment below to get the link, that's ManyChat. So one thing that we've been doing is we built a ManyChat out for when people comment something on one of our clients' Instagrams, like we could tell them like, hey,
comment tacos or no,
comment birria.
That's too common. Yeah, that's too common.
Comment birria if you want access to our special offer, and everybody that comments birria on that post, automatically the system will send them a DM and it will reply to that comment saying, hey, I sent you a DM with more information. So then you could be booking pretty much reservations on autopilot while you're sleeping, or it might be while you're awake but you're doing other things.
Yeah, another good one that we have too is once people tag us on their stories, because our clients get a lot of tags being in the hospitality industry, and sometimes we can't reach out to we cannot reach out to all of them back. So
thank them and whatever.
Yeah, so a great way is you can actually automate that. So every time somebody tags you on their story, it'll literally, you can like the story and then it'll reply back saying, hey, thanks for the love. Glad to see that you're here eating our tacos. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, you did it to me the other day when I was at one of our clients' venues and they uploaded something. Nice. I got it back. I'm like, is this Michelle or is this ManyChat? But the cool thing is that it's built in a way where they don't feel like they're talking to like some robot or whatever, and it gives them the FAQs, the menu. It gives them more information if they need. So super cool. Okay. Hold up. Okay, what's your play for building a text or email list fast? I mean,
do not, for the love of God, buy email lists off of people that are not yours.
Yeah, no, definitely not. How do you build it fast? Look, your website, a lot of restaurants don't have a big old call button on the mobile part of their website so somebody could call right away. One way to build those lists is when you're on the phone with them, ask them for their permission if you could add them to our rewards program, to our list. Can we email you? Can we text you? Get that consent, send it through. If not, you could get it on site. You could, on your website, have a lead magnet, free appetizer, free whatever. I'm not a big fan of giving free things out, but some people are, and it works for them. So you could try that if you want. You could have wait lists. There's different ways that you could collect information on your stories. You could have a story reminder. Click here, go to this landing page, sign up for our email list. And again, if you're going to do these types of things, you want to make sure that you're compliant. We talked about compliance, that you're SMS compliant, email compliant, and that, what else?
Yeah, I think the waitlist one is really good.
Text, SMS, waitlist. What else? Open table. They have literally all the data's in there. Like when they book a reservation with you, like most restaurants these days, it's like an open table or whichever other Yelp, whatever they may be using, the data's in there. You could text them, you could email them. So don't sleep on that. So many people have an open table like repository with thousands of people and they never even reach out to them. They're just trying to get new customers.
Yeah. I think like, for example, like again, tying it back to the taco restaurant, let's say you're like a taco restaurant that's about to launch. A great idea is to do a wait list. Like we've seen a lot of success with it because again, human nature, like people are nosy and people, they want to join in on what other people are joining into.
Try something new.
Yeah. So if there's a wait list, you're like, damn, why aren't I on that wait list? And why is there so many other people on this wait list that I am not on? So that's a great way for you to collect emails and then hype people up for your grand opening. And then that way you can almost guarantee yourself to have at least a few people at your door because they signed up for your wait list. So you know that they're interested.
Yeah.
You know, and like how it ties into a lead magnet. You know, I know a lot of people aren't really a big fan of giving away free things because you may think it devalues your company. But let's say you don't want to do a free appetizer. A great way to not only collect emails but build company culture is giving away free merch, you know, free t-shirts, free keychains, whatever it may be. That is not necessarily giving away free product of your own food, but it's giving away free merch that you can almost guarantee people will wear.
Yeah, hat, shirt.
Yeah,
that stuff is really important. Now, how do you keep customers coming back without relying on discounts? I mean, you just kind of touched on discounts. How do you keep them coming back? Look, I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but you have to think about the experience that they're having. And one of the first thing that came to my mind when I said this just now is a conversation I had with somebody a few months ago where they talked about lawsuits in the medical industry. And I know we're switching industries, but I'll give you an example. There was this person that was really upset about a medical procedure, and they wanted to sue. And there was 2 doctors involved in the process. But the person only wanted to sue the doctor that was kind of like cranky and like they didn't fully connect with, but the person that they liked, they didn't want to sue them. And it turns out that the person that made the mistake was the person that they liked, and the person that did a good job was the person that they didn't. And all of a sudden they didn't want to sue. So what am I getting at? It's maybe that day the chef wasn't on top of his shit and the tacos weren't banging, but maybe your freaking waiter or your hostess saved the day because their service was spectacular. They're offered to take a picture. Do you need another drink? Let me top you off. And maybe the food wasn't that fantastic, but the service and how they made that person feel on that day could make that person come back and give that person a shot. So I would say don't count out the fact that your company culture needs to be fire, because people will come back for the food, but a lot of the times people will come back just because they felt good.
Exactly. This is another example. I know it's pretty random example actually, but like I went on a cruise one time with my family, and I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise. I feel like you probably had very similar situations, but you pretty much go eat at the same restaurant every single night that you're on a cruise, and you have the same server, your same drink person every single night. And if you're we were there for quite a while, at least 7 days. And one night, we got damn tired of eating the same thing, so we were like, you know what, let's go hit up the buffet. We literally went to the buffet, and as we're sitting at the buffet, our server from the restaurant, I don't even know how many floors up in the cruise boat, comes down and is like, why did you guys not come eat at the restaurant today? And literally comes and is like, no, like, let's come and eat, like, da 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 da.
There you go.
He was probably trying to make his money. I respect the hustle.
cares?
However,
Yeah.
like, we appreciated that. We thought that was so funny.
Hell
and
yeah,
like,
get
we're
up.
like,
All right.
damn, we're like,
I'm
all
about to
right.
get some good service, yeah?
Yeah, like who else would do that? Obviously you're a cruise, so it's going to be hard to run away at that rate. But
For real.
the fact that any other type of service would have probably been like, fuck, you know what? Like, sorry, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that was probably like one of the craziest experiences I had, that a server was literally like, no, get up, let's go eat. Like, and he don't get me wrong, like, he treated us great when we like went to go back up to eat there. Like, my dad loves strawberry daiquiris, virgins, and he literally gave him like four free ones that night. We weren't on the drink package, so he gave us like so much free stuff just because like we went and showed him love, and I thought that was like fantastic. Again, it's not all about the free things, but just the service in general was like so hospitable that we were like, there's no.
That's the moment to give the free drink. Not, oh, come eat here, let me give you a free drink. No, thanks for sitting down, thanks for coming back, I love you, you're amazing. Hey, by the way, here's a drink. I think that's a different approach than offering somebody for free to come because they're coming for the wrong reasons. So that was a good example. I bet Kiko had a good time. He should have got some alcohol though.
No, he doesn't drink.
Yeah, and funny enough, the last podcast we had here was with James Swanick, and he has a no drinking program that just is incredible. He's changed the lives of so many people. So check out that episode if you haven't already. Common mistakes. What do most restaurants waste money on when launching? I would say shitty influencers. They don't track the way the influencers are going to bring them results. OpenTable has a way for you to create like custom links, and you could give it to the influencers when they post on stories and stuff, and you could see if it brought any reservations. You could also do custom ad codes. So if an influencer goes to your restaurant, post a picture, post a video, there's on their post, like the three little dots, they could open them, grab the ad code, send you the ad code, and then that lets you run ads from your profile using their post, and then you could grab reservations using their post. So that's a good one that people overlook. So don't waste your money paying influencers that you don't know if they're going to bring you results. Actually measure it, actually track it. Another thing is some restaurants go and sign up with some expensive ass PR companies for I don't know how many months, and don't get me wrong, PR companies are very important and we work with them all the time, but just be very careful in what they're offering you and how much you're paying for, because a lot of the time you're spending money on things that are not going to bring you an immediate return. What I would say is spend money on making people come in, try products. If they're trying products, make sure you have the permission to take their photos, to take their videos, because then you're killing 20, 30 birds with one stone in it. So that would be my quick response to that.
Another mistake I would say, let's say in regards to like a team aspect, is again like not really training your team properly, like not making sure they live, breathe, eat that menu. I worked back at Moontide. I literally put the menu onto flashcards, and I had to study it, and if I did not pass, I didn't get to work there.
Sucks when you ask somebody about a menu question. Oh, I gotta go ask, I don't know.
And they tell you that bullshit lie like, oh, it's my first day. It ain't their fucking first day. I've used that excuse before, so I know. But I think like especially not only knowing the menu, but like doing the experience of upselling certain things on the menu.
Yeah.
You know,
Average
like
order
don't be
value.
a hustler and try to like friggin' sell things over the menu. But like, let's say somebody orders a glass of wine, like you better pick the fucking most expensive glass of wine on there and be like, I recommend this glass of wine and da da da. And then you have to know all about the wines. You know, if you recommend a certain cocktail, you better know that specific alcohol, the specific liquor that they use in there.
Because the story that you tell about why it's good is what's going to sell it. It goes back to the story.
And whether it's a piece of, whether the cocktail, whether it's a food, you know, like you should be upselling things. Oh, hey, thanks for wrapping up. Dessert tonight. Oh, coffee, tea, anything.
Yeah, we have this new dessert that everybody's talking about, and I'm sure it's not going to disappoint you. If it does, let me know. But how about I bring you one with like 3 spoons? Like immediate, like you just have to be smooth with it.
Yeah, because you can have the great marketing, and you know you can have a table. Your restaurant
could be
full of tables back to back from open to close. But if each of your servers are doing the bare minimum and being like, water, here are your tacos, here's your check. You know, you're selling $20 fucking tables compared to you could be selling $60 tables.
Yeah,
you know?
$200, $300.
A $3,000 day is way different to a fucking $10,000 day.
Yeah,
and you had the same amount of tables.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can incentivize the highest people who sold things. So, hey, Jeremy, you sold the most tacos this month. Congratulations. You know what? Last month, you really wanted a trip to Ibiza. Here you go, buddy. Because you sold the most tacos, I'll give you your free trip to Ibiza.
Yeah. Incentivizing is really important. And to find, like, again, it goes back to what I was saying. You could download the in this case, Open Table Data, which is the one we use the most, and see who the highest selling servers are. And then not only which the highest selling are, because some just like do a bunch of tables, but look at the you could ask ChatGPT to tell you, look at all the servers based off how much they sold and how many tables they had, and then see which one had an average order value. And then you'll be able to tell which of your servers makes people spend the most per sitting, and then you can incentivize that person with, I don't know, there's a grooming package, a massage, paying their flight to Ibiza, like you mentioned, whatever. But that the staff, like you have to care about your staff, because like I sat here with Aldo from Toro Loco, and he overpays his staff. Like his stuff never leaves him because he overpays them. Isn't that crazy? That's and then awesome. Like when you go over there, everybody's tripping over each other to help you. like that's incredible. Like that's a really cool thing to see. Not everybody could do that, but if you could incentivize in small ways, people appreciate that, and it makes a difference for them.
Absolutely.
All right. So as we come to almost finishing up, let's see. What trends do restaurant owners chase that don't convert? Copying other restaurants.
Oh my god, you just took the words out of my fucking mouth.
Stop copying the competition, for fuck's sake, because then everybody's copying each other, and what they don't know is that the shit that they're all doing doesn't work for any of them.
No. Yeah, like don't be so obsessed with what your competitors are doing. Like, yes, get inspiration here and there, you know, keep
an eye on them if you need to, but
copy
please
a trend or two, you know, but if they're using red and blue colors on whatever email, don't fucking use red and blue colors on the goddamn email. You know, like if they name, like if they name their tacos, I don't know, like let's say they do a 4th of July special for tacos, $4, you get a free cocktail. You better not do the same exact deal. Your deal better be 10 times better. Your deal better be tacos, guacamole, chips, and a cocktail.
Hell yeah. Which is what we were talking about. What makes you stand out? What's your value proposition? Mm-hmm. You could always think about that in terms of how does my whole restaurant stand out, but also when you have a specific offer, how does this offer differ from somebody else's? So you always want to mark the difference. What would we what would we never do for a taco restaurant trying to grow fast?
What a good question.
That is a great question.
What would we do for a taco restaurant?
No. What would we never do?
Man, what a good question.
Pay people to come pretend they like your food. Fuck that. You want real feedback. Like you also don't want to pay PR people to write like super strokey information about your restaurant. You want the right people to be saying the right thing about your restaurant. You don't want a bunch of fools talking about what your restaurant is where people are not going to take them seriously. Like people that actually matter, foodies, critics, chefs, all those things I think are important.
I think another good one that we recently started doing is I would never now put priority over desktop websites. You know, like now, especially, we are putting a lot of priority over mobile devices, right? Because if you look at your analytics, more than
60 to
likely,
70%
you know,
are
if
gonna be
you're a
mobile.
company out there and you're, you know, obviously if you're a service company, it's typically desktop. But if you're a restaurant out there and your traffic is coming from desktop, please let me know, because that's wild.
Yeah.
You know, most at this day and age is everybody's on their phones. You know, nobody's barely on their laptops, especially looking up restaurants. Like if you're on the go, you're doing quick tacos, the first thing you're going to do is pull up your iPhone, pull up your Android, and look up on Google, look up on whatever, best tacos.
Yeah.
And if you go to their website and their website is slow, it's chunky, it's freaking not optimized for mobile, like, you know, you can't scroll, the navigation menu is not sticky, your menu is not optimized for mobile, I am getting the crap out of there.
Yeah.
You know, and so is a lot of other people. So it's so important to really mobile optimize your website and make things easier and quick for people to access. You know, like what are, like, let's say you can put a nice little footer menu at the bottom of like the most important things that you want people to do, right? So what are that'd be phone calls, your address, and your reservations.
Yeah. Another thing that I would really focus on, because we're talking about specifically Taco Spot right now, to that question, is respect culture. Like, you may be the owner of a Mexican taco restaurant, because this is the example that we're saying, but you may not be Mexican. Please respect people's culture. Please take the time to understand the music that you're putting, the ingredients, how you're explaining things. Don't disrespect somebody's culture, because you don't want a Mexican person walking in there saying, what the hell is going on in here? Like, that these people aren't respecting the true roots. So really do understand what you're doing and what you're selling. Don't look at it just as, oh, this is something that I need to sell, but this is something that I'm selling to someone who likely connects with it, and it needs to be something that's authentic and genuine.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny that you say that. I just went to a Peruvian restaurant the other day, and I am Peruvian, as you can probably not tell. I speak pretty much fluent Spanish, and
yeah.
I went to a Peruvian restaurant. And I asked for Inca Cola, which is a national Peruvian drink out there. It's like a soda, yellow soda.
Shout out to their team who follow the podcast too.
Yes.
Yeah, they do follow us.
Oh, wait, which restaurant?
No, Inca Cola.
Oh,
like their
shut up.
executive team. Yeah, they follow what we do.
What the crap?
Yeah.
Shout out Inca Cola. I fucking love you guys. What the hell? But yeah, so I went to the Peruvian restaurant and I asked for an Inca Cola, and they tell me they don't have it. I'm like,
ooh,
I literally almost stood up. I was like, you are a Peruvian restaurant. I'm like, what do you mean you don't? I'm like, you just ran out? Like, no, we don't carry it. And I was like, I obviously picked the wrong Peruvian spot.
Yeah, that's one of those little details that's what I meant. I'm glad that you had an example for that. Okay, if we had to grow this taco spot from $0 to packed weekends in 60 days, what are the three most important things that we would focus on? That's a tall order.
I would say like the first thing again is like
order.
having not your tech stack, but your brand stack, right? So something I feel like a lot of people overlook because it's such a minute detail, but I personally, I love it. And I think it's very, very important, is having the same name brand across the board, right? Besides like what you mentioned, the name, address, phone number on Google, it's so important for your email domain, your social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, everything across the board to be exactly the same. Your Google My Business name, right? So let's say you're the taco restaurant. Let's call it Michelle's Tacos, right? That should be the name across the board. Michelle's Tacos. Or let's say we're in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle's Tacos Los Angeles.com. My Google My Business name is Michelle's Tacos Restaurant Los Angeles. My social media handles are all Michelle's Tacos Restaurant Los Angeles. It's a very minute detail, but to have the same name across the board is so key. So then that way it's consistent across the board in not only in someone's phone, but in someone's head, right? So they aren't always like, oh, what's that tacos restaurant name again? Is it Tacos Michelle's Los Angeles, or is it Los Angeles Tacos Michelle's? Like, because they have so many different names on Instagram and so many this. And so many people don't do the proper research beforehand to be like, cool, I want to name my taco restaurant Michelle's Tacos. Let me go on GoDaddy and check if the domain is available. Oh, fuck, michellestacos.com is not available. Maybe I should reconsider naming my taco restaurant that. Maybe I should name it Alex's Tacos. Oh, look at that. alextaco.com is available. Fantastic. Instagram, locked in. Alex Tacos, perfect. And I think that's such, a minute detail that people don't really think about.
Now, as we wrap up, I want to answer that question as well. One sec. Hi. Okay, there we go. I'll make sure pulling up a website to give you guys before we finish up. My uncle Diego has owned several restaurants throughout his career, and one of the things that he taught me that he did when he first opened a restaurant in the neighborhood was that he went to all the local businesses and gave samples to all the staff, not random people, the staff that work in the neighborhood, because those are the people that order takeout, those are the people that come on their break, etc. So I would say that if you're gonna open and you want to have packed tables, one big thing is gonna be ingrain yourself into the community, show them that you care, that you want to help, that you want to be there. And I would say that once they come in, don't just think that you've won them over. They came in, market to the second and third visit. They came in now, maybe next time, thanks for coming in, thanks for spending. By the way, next time you order, here's a card for a free appetizer, here's a card for a free drink. Now they come twice. The second time they come, figure out a way to bring, we're having a special event this week. Why don't you come and I'm going to like section you off. Once they come the second and third time, it's a wrap. It's a wrap because they got treated well. The food was good. They came 3 times. You're a neighborhood spot now. So I would say in addition to everything that we talked about, because we talked about influencers, PR, branding, marketing, ads, organic, all these things that we talked about, sometimes old school shit is what works. Go knock on doors. Go give some samples. Hey, my name is Michelle. I just opened the new taco spot. Here's some samples. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Like, go to the next spot. Grab phone numbers if you need to. Leave some cards for them to be able to come in. Maybe you guys need delivery. We're on Uber Eats as well. Well, here's our information. That is key, and I think that would be very helpful.
Absolutely.
All right. So with that being said, y'all, if you want to learn more about restaurant marketing, you guys could always send us a message, send us an email. If you want to join our program, we have an accelerator, which we pretty much build out your entire infrastructure. We train your team and we step back. That way you don't have to worry about paying agencies every month. If you want to learn more about that, you could go to highticket-restaurant.com and you can see if you're a good fit.
Yeah. And if you're a restaurant owner or just know a restaurant, like hit us up. Like honestly, we love what we do. We'd love to audit your restaurant, see what you could be doing better.
At no cost. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll shoot you some tips, and to see what you could do better, what's working, what's not. And yeah, we're always looking to help out.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this. We're trying to be as descriptive as possible. If you feel that we missed anything, drop us a comment, send us a message, and if you feel there's anything we left out, we're happy to do another episode.
Yeah, now I can't wait to go eat some tacos. I'm hungry.
Yeah, all right, let's go get some of
taco
that birria.
talk.
Yeah, all right, y'all. Alex, Quin, Michelle, Chia, Hustle Inspires Hustle. See you in the next episode. And don't forget that you can support our podcast by visiting our shop at hustleinspireshustle.com/shop.